Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. It's me again, Jen. Hello! And it is Tuesday. It is the 8th of December. So we are more than a week into the last month of the year. And we are reading from the Nightmare Before Christmas tarot deck, which to me is the only deck you should probably be playing with in the month of December. I'm just saying. The deck is created by Minerva Siegel and beautifully illustrated by Abigail Larson. And I think that they definitely embody the idea of the film. And there's been some really interesting cards so far. This deck has been lent to me by my dear friend and tarot student Taylor, and I really appreciate it because it's kind of like a month-long little gift for me to open every single day. And then I promise I will give them back to her at the end of the month because, we're going to do something new in January. So without further ado, let's see what card we have for this Tuesday. All right. We have the King of Candles. And I think I mentioned this with a couple of the other cards that we've done so far. The suits, the minor arcana suits, are a little bit different than in a traditional tarot deck. And you still have the king, the queen, and I think the knight and page, I'm fairly certain, but the suit itself is a little bit different. In this case, candles is going to be representing the wands, and that works in the sense of wands are typically fire and energy and that kind of thing. So I think candles absolutely works. I would say that it's a little bit different because usually the wands we think of as a magic wand. So I'm going to go ahead and stretch this and say, with a magic wand, you make magic happen and you wave your wand and wishes come true. With candles, you blow out the candle on the birthday cake, etc., and your wishes come true. See, I totally tied that together. I'm doing the best I can here. The King of Candles in this case is the Pumpkin King, and it is Jack Skellington in his scarecrow outfit with the pumpkin head on his head. And he's at his kind of most powerful, most terrifying, and also most creative in this form. I would say that the Pumpkin King version of Jack is sort of like his fully embodied form. He hasn't burned away to the skeleton, and he's like terrifying and all this stuff. And definitely the jack-o'-lantern aspect is the embodiment of Halloween. So if you look at all of those things as this is where Jack is kind of his most powerful and most himself, that's what the King of Wands, or in this case, King of Candles, represents, is a male figure, usually an older male figure, who has really come into his own. He knows who he is, he knows his creativity, he knows his power. He spreads creativity to everyone else around him and is really knowledgeable in whatever his field may be. And in a way, he grants wishes in the sense of he's kind of the guy you go to for ideas. He's the guy you go to, hey, I've got a problem, I need to fix it. What do I do? You go to the King of Wands. You go to this sort of energy, this sort of person. This is a great, very creative person. And I say that it's usually someone older and usually male, but that's kind of the energy of it. It doesn't have to be a guy. It could be a woman who is very driven in her field and kind of in that way what we typically traditionally consider masculine traits of being driven and forthright and a little bit aggressive and more pushy than what we traditionally think of as feminine qualities. That said, I'm kind of one of those people who's like, you know what? If you think men are the only ones who can be uh, aggressive and pushy and creative and really driven in their field, that's out with the old. Out with the old. But in this case, it is a male energy. I think that if you watch the film and you see in the very beginning where Jack is kind of marching into town and he appears out of the fountain and all of this stuff, And yet he burns off all of that as kind of like, this is the end, and now I kind of go dormant for a while. What I see that as in the like upright version of the king is knowing when to let your power kind of wane and knowing where the line is. You can be creative and you can be driven and you can be a little pushy, but where's the line? Don't push it so hard that people are kind of pushed away from you because you're always in the midst of some chaos and in the midst of some big giant creative project that you're pushing other people to be involved in. Do it in a way that is inviting others and open to the creativity of others. The reverse side of this is sort of what Jack becomes as he obsesses over Christmas. The more he obsesses over Christmas, the more he becomes too pushy and too aggressive and doesn't listen to the creative ideas of others unless they fit along the vein of his vision of what Christmas is. And yes, there is one point in the story where he says, well, fine, they want to have it their way, they're going to have it their way. But really, what he's doing is he's finding that one little niche that'll hook everybody to play along with his idea, and then makes it kind of their fault when it goes sideways. That's one of the things that the King of Wands can kind of get into, or King of Candles, where it's like, I have this great idea, but you wanted to do this, and that's why it didn't work out. And it's sort of a way to pass the blame of all that pushiness and all that drive and all that energy and making it everybody else's fault when it falls flat. So I look at this card and go, yes, this is very much a Jack Skellington sort of card in the sense of you've got all these creative ideas and usually they're wonderful and you do want to go to him and he is a great leader and he's awesome. But when he obsesses over something, he's going to become problematic because he's going to think more about his obsession than everybody else's feelings. So it becomes very domineering and destructive, much like fire. So going back to the more traditional sense of it is wands and fire, fire can be very creative and great for cooking and great for warmth and all of those things, but it can also be devastating. So when you have a king who is a fire sign or has that sort of energy, realize that he walks a line and can become really kind of a jerk sometimes if he's obsessing over a particular project. I think that this is a really great card. I also love the colors in this card, and I think it embodies that fire sign and wands and all of that together in some really fun ways that tie right back into the Nightmare Before Christmas theme. So if you like this card, please let me know in the comments below. And again, thank you to Taylor for letting me borrow this deck. And check out the links in the description if you're interested in a tarot reading to start out the new year, or if you're interested in joining us come January for Tarot Cafe and all of the cool things that we do. Other than that, I wish you a very happy Tuesday. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!